Hello and welcome back, guys. As you can see in the background, my character actually reached 1445 for hard mode Valtan, which will release in about 2 weeks. And I just want to walk you through exactly what materials, especially Leapstones, I'm getting each week. Only with 2 characters, so only with my main character, which is the Blade, and then I have another character which is 1385 at the moment, which is my Shadow Hunter. So I'll walk you through exactly what I'm doing. Obviously the alt doesn't give you that many materials because most of them are bound, right? So you basically just get mats from the pirate vendor from your alt, you get mats from the Chaos Dungeon, and you get some mats from the Guardian raids, right? And also the weekly stuff that you get on the alt is mostly bound, especially the Leapstones. And so I will not really go into that in super high detail because the alt doesn't really provide me that much. So I'm just really counting the pirate ship, the Guardian, and the Chaos Dungeon, right? So let's get right into that. So I have a full folder of the things that I actually got. Obviously, this is going to look a little scuffed, but I think it will get the point across anyways. So this is actually the loot of my Argos run. So a couple people will probably think, oh, why do you have 52 Leapstones from an Argos run? So it's pretty simple. The blood that you get from Argos after you actually have the set completed, you can just dismantle in the dismantle window and you get 2 Leapstones per blood. There's a little bit of RNG involved as well. I think sometimes you can get more or less. It's a little bit RNG, but this is basically the entire Argos run. And obviously you can also see that I dismantled some of the Argos gear, basically all of it, all of the accessories, because they weren't really worth anything, right? Next up is the boss rush, and I also included the 2 weeklies that I get from it. So in this case, I got 55 Greater Leapstones, which again, 2 of which is from the weekly, which is 19, I think. 19 of these Greater Leapstones are directly from the weekly quest. And then you have 35 Leapstones from just the normal ones, which you can obviously convert. So if you were to convert those, that's what I will do at the very end. By the way, I will convert all of the normal Leapstones into Graders, which is divided by 5, right? So in this case, it would be 7 Leapstones on top of that. So in total, is 62 Greater Leapstones, right? Also have a screenshot of Chaos Gate, which is a blue one. I don't think I will include this in the total because it's super RNG, right? Whichever Chaos Legion portal you do. And on top of that, it also depends which map you get, right? So this is, I think I'm not going to include it in the full one, but this is just a blue map, you know, tier 3. Then right here we have a Chaos Dungeon. This is an average Chaos Dungeon run. I think Chaos Dungeons are a little bit bugged right now. So all of these mats we will have to multiply by 7. So keep that in mind. And at the very end, at the full total. And again, I will probably try to get all of these, Guardian and Destruction Stones in as well at the grand total at the very end. But this is what I normally get from 2 Chaos Dungeon runs, right? This is not 1, this is actually 2. On a daily basis, which you can obviously then also do for my alt, although I would say my alt probably gets a little bit less because the alt can only do the 1385 Chaos Dungeon and my main can do the 1400 one, obviously. Then this is also the current event that's going on, which I will also translate into Greater Leapstones at the very end, and the Destruction and Guardian Stones as well. So this will probably vary depending on which event we obviously have. By the way, I'm not including the Arc Pass because that's just way too many mats, but also keep that in mind that I'm not including everything like the Arc Pass. I'm completely not bringing in here because I've already finished it, so I'm not going to get any more mats from the Arc Pass, right? Also important, a lot of people forget about the Ghost Ship. This is what I got from the Ghost Ship. You get that once a week, which is a good amount of stones as well, like a couple of juicers on top of that. Then this is usually what I buy each week from the Infinite Chaos. A little bit more probably, you know, I probably buy a couple of more Destruction Stones here and there. Depends on the prices. And I'll probably buy a couple of Leapstones as well. And if I combine that with the actual loot that I get from the Infinite Chaos Dungeons, this will be a little bit more than this. So I'm guessing like 8 to 9 Greater Leapstones and probably like 500 of the stones each. Maybe 500 Guardian Stones and 400-ish Destruction Stones. So I'll add that to the grand total as well, because I do grind a lot of Infinite Chaos Dungeon right now, simply because I want to get a lot of these Fragments of Longing, because in the long run, once we get the relic accessories, you can exchange these for relic accessories as well. So I'm grinding a lot of that right now, which is a decent amount of mats, and as you can see, I still have a lot of shards, which I'm currently not really sure what to do with because all of the exchange is very inefficient, but usually that's what I go for. Then obviously you have a field boss, which is multiple times a week. This doesn't give me that much, honestly, and since I already have all of the Omnium Star and the Bleed Rune and everything, so this doesn't give me as much. So sometimes I'll do other field bosses to get like Adventure Tome stuff or whatever, but this is like 3 or 4 times a week. I think 3 times a week, so I will add that to the total as well. Then we have Aurea hard mode, which is also, well, once a week, right? And again, I was dismantling all of the mats that you get from the for crafting armor and weapons and whatever, right? So this is after I dismantled that. Then obviously we also have Valganos. This is 2 Valganos, by the way. So if you didn't know, Valganos actually gives you on average 1 more Greater Leapstone than Yoho does, and I've probably done over 100 Valganos at this point, probably more, honestly. And yeah, there you go. This is the average daily Valganos. 9 Leapstones is also accurate because it can either give you 4 or 5. It's a little bit RNG. So 9 Leapstones a day from Valganos seems reasonable. And now let's talk about the PvP vendor for a second, which is also pretty interesting, the amount of shards and everything you get. So if you scroll down here, right now, well, next week actually, I will be Supreme 8 if I keep my rank like this. So as you can see, if I keep going, I will be 271, which will put me into Supreme 8, which will allow me to buy all of the mats in the PvP store. But for now, I will just include everything up until Supreme 6. We will get 3 Destruction Stones for now, and then we'll do 3 Guardian Stones, 3 normal Leap Stones, 3 Graders, and so on. Okay, so I'll count all of this up, which is all of these. As you can see, I already bought all of this, which I'll also count to the total as well. Then we obviously also have the Guild vendor, or the Silmel Bloodstone vendor, which is this right here, which I don't buy all of this stuff, but especially the Leap Stones, and usually also the normal Honor Leap Stones, and of course you need to buy the Punica entrance tickets, which I haven't even bought this week, and the bonus mats here as well. So depending on how much you do in your guild, you can get a lot of mats here as well. I will just use my normal average here, which, we'll see how much that amounts to, but this week I've already gotten 2 boss rushes, so we'll count that also towards that. And on top of that, we obviously have Una's task, and there's one important thing about those as well, which I always use 1 Una's task bonus from Mary's shop. We'll talk about that in a second. So I will get a grand total of 4 dailies a day, which usually is between 18 and 20 Leapstones, depending on which ones you do. Since I don't have access to the Frozen Haven one right now, usually I have around 18 Leapstones a day, which is obviously times 7 each week. On top of that, we talked about weekly already, which I did both of these, but we didn't talk about the PvP weekly, which will give me an additional 11 Greater Leapstones on top of that. And also, let's talk about Mary's secret shop for a second, which is right here. A lot of blue crystal conversion has been done on my account. If you look at my history here, maybe I could just do this really quick. I buy a good amount of blue crystals every now and then just to use the Mary's shop. So in that sense, I will also count those a little bit, because there's a couple, like for example, Great Honor Leapstones here. A lot of the normal Leapstones you can also buy and exchange them for Graders. Again, Greater Leapstones. I didn't even buy these yet because obviously I'm already 1445, so I don't have to. I do not buy Guardian Stones, I do not buy Solar Protections, and I do not buy Destruction Stones. Everything else that is for tier 3 I basically buy, besides, maybe fusion material I will just craft myself, right? But I bought a lot of Solar Blessings and I bought a lot of Solar's Grace. It depends on your server if this is worth doing, because it depends on how much blue crystals are worth at the end of the day, right? And then we also have the Traveling Merchant Ship, which you can do on each character. And not all of these mats are actually tradable, but both Destruction and Guardian Stones are tradable, so I will count this on 2 different characters, right? So I buy both of these out on both characters that I'm currently playing. And there's also this new addition to the game, which is the Chaos line, which, by the way, will get a hard mode soon. And there will also be hard mode Guardians, and there will be Valtan and a lot of other stuff. But just for now, until Valtan, this is basically the last thing I want to talk about. I obviously already bought everything here besides 1 report chest. Maybe I'll get that at some point. But there's a good amount of mats here as well. Solar Blessings, Solar Protections, Leap Stones, Shards, Guardian Stones. I bought all of these obviously, but I'm not going to count these towards my weekly because these are one-time purchase. So, But just so I show you guys that I'm not including literally everything in here, because it's just like the Arc Pass. I think this is like a one-time thing, and it wouldn't be good to include that in such a video. And as far as I know, unless I forgot something, that should be everything. Well, unless I forgot something, maybe let me know in the comments. Maybe I did forget something. This should be the entirety of everything. And right now, somewhere on the screen, you should see all of the mats combined, which should tell you basically roughly what I make a week. Obviously, there's some RNG involved, and as I said, some of the features I don't use. Also, keep in mind, I barely ever buy anything for gold, so that includes, well, items, normal items, but that also includes materials. So I rarely buy materials. I normally just convert the gold into blue crystals, so I can buy something from Mary's shop. But because I don't have to do that anymore, I can basically stack my gold up now. And as you can see here, I also have 457 Fions. So yeah, I'm just not buying anything. But yeah, obviously there's a couple of islands as well that give you a little bit, or like Adventure Island giving you gold. And there's a couple of other resource, well, streams. But at the end of the day, I think this is everything that I can think of for the moment. So yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like this video, consider subbing. And if you want to watch me live, come over to Twitch. Have a good one, guys. Peace.